Hello there, everybody. It's a bit of a difference today with one kick from glory. We're one down, but as football goes, the show must go on. Um, Premier League is back. Internationals are done. Some are going to be happier than others, and we're going to find out today. So, as I said before, things are going to be a little bit different. I've got myself, Matt, and on the other side, I got Craig.
Yeah, yeah.
So yes, let's get started talking about some topics. Cut to the chase, and just talk about the last few Premier League games on return from the international break. You're gonna be a little bit more pleased than me. Arsenal getting a hard fought win against the Bees at Brentford on Saturday evening. So Craig, how does it feel to be sitting pretty at the top of the league temporarily for the
Um,
first time this season? How are you feeling, man?
I'm happy. It was a hard game against Brentford. They played very well. We got the goal in the last 89th minute. Like
Mm,
happy go lucky, like lucky goal, not lucky goal, but good goal to
mm.
score. Havertz scored a header. Saka his assist. What else could you ask for? And some of the Brentford fans were saying, "What a waste of 65 million," but he proved in the end. That's why he paid 65 million for players to do that impact in the game. So I'm very happy with the result. It was a good game. Um, One thing I'm worried about though is that we need to start scoring more goals in matches. Like, I can't be always relying to score in the 89th minute. Like, we should be able to kill off teams earlier and try and just win the game from there, kind of thing. So yeah,
I mean, from someone who knows him quite well, Mr. Havertz. I mean, we paid what 70 odd million for him, and we were leaning on that Champions League goal for so long, almost
mm,
as if we were saying that that's his price paid for winning us the trophy. You
yeah,
never know; he might be saying in by come May, April, May, that games like this, performances like this, is the reason why you might potentially be lifting up the trophy. Of course, as we said
mm,
last time, all those things lingering over their heads. You never know what's possible in the future. And even from last season, 115 charges don't just go away like that. So you just never know. Just keep on piling on the pressure on the other teams, and then see what happens. So with a congested Christmas schedule coming up, I'm not sure entirely how hard your games look, but a bit of a difference for not doing any Boxing Days fixtures is going to be mostly done around Christmas Eve time, so the footballers get the time with their families. So how are
mm.
you feeling with the Christmas schedule coming up? Obviously, it's going to be very, very busy. How are you feeling about some of the games coming up? How confident do you feel with some of the
I know,
fixtures?
I know, I know, I know we've got Wolves on Saturday, and after Wolves we've got Luton. After Luton, I think we've got Liverpool. We've got to play
Mm,
Liverpool. Um, I feel like we should be able to beat Wolves at home, and Luton's away at Kenilworth Road, so we should be able to
mm.
beat Luton as well. But it's not going to be an easy game. None of these games in the Premier League are easy. So Wolves are not
Yeah.
really in the bottom of the table, but they're playing well this season. They're already beating Man City. They're already beaten who else did they beat? Tottenham. So they know how to beat the big boys. So if we don't play like how we played against Brentford on Saturday, they will punish us. So we need to be clinical on Saturday against them.
Yeah, so you are at home. So I'm just looking at your fixtures now. You got, like you said, Wolves, Luton away. I mean, of course, Luton nearly got a very famous win against Liverpool not that long ago. But
Mm.
them coming away with a draw is something they didn't see coming. And to be honest, neither did we. So that's gonna be tough. Then you got Arsenal against Villa. Your old manager and Emery doing
Mm.
well at Aston Villa. Got a good win against Spurs on Sunday. Tough game at Brighton. Your last game before Christmas is away against Liverpool. Then you got West Ham, Fulham. Well, the Christmas thing ends at Fulham away.
Mm.
Nonetheless, that between now and Fulham,
Yeah.
I would say there's some winnable games in there, but there are gonna
Mm.
be some tough ones. So from ignoring Champions League and stuff like that, just focusing on
Yeah.
the Premier League, we've got Wolves, Luton, Villa, Brighton, Liverpool, uh, West Ham, and Fulham.
Yeah.
Where are you expecting the wins to come from?
We should be able to beat Wolves. Should be able to beat Luton. Aston Villa's going to be a tricky one. It's away, isn't it? Aston Villa's away, isn't it?
Aston Villa is at Villa. Yeah, it's at Villa Park, 9th of December.
That's going to be a hard game.
Mm.
as long as we don't lose there, if we take a draw, I'll be happy with a draw. As long as we
Mm.
don't lose there. And who else said we've got Liverpool? You said after that.
So your next game after that is Brighton at home, and then you got Liverpool away on the 23rd.
Well, Brighton beat us last season at home. We beat them away, so it's going to be
Mm.
a hard game. But I feel that if the Brighton haven't really been playing well this season in the Premier League. They've been struggling. So I'm hoping,
Yeah, a
yeah,
bit of
they're
this.
heckle and jive, yeah. So
Uh,
I do fancy us if at home because this season our home form seems to be much more better than last season. So I do fancy us at home against them. I do think we could beat them at home. It's not going
and
to be an
then
easy game. It's not going to be an easy game, but I think we should be able to beat them at home. And then the next game, the last game after that is on Liverpool, isn't it?
yeah, Liverpool is away. That's on the 23rd, and then your last two Christmassy festive fixture games is going to be West Ham at home and Fulham away.
West Ham are doing well this season and already beaten us in the Carabao Cup this season. So
That's true, yeah.
so I feel that with West Ham we have to be very careful. But Declan Rice might want to prove a point against his former club. So if everyone is fit, and firing, I think we should be able to beat West Ham at home. And then the next game after that is after West Ham, Fulham.
After Fulham is it's the last one of the. I'm gonna say it's the last of the Christmas period, but it's also
Yeah,
the last of 2023. The next game after that won't be until 20th of Jan, playing Crystal Palace, but they're not gonna get there too much because there's a big gap in the middle, which include like FA Cup and other games like that as well.
yeah,
But yeah, Fulham away is going to be your last game of 2023. Now you drew against them earlier in the season, and a lot of pundits and a lot of people are questioning your like title charge and your approach to these games
mm,
because you're a bit more methodical rather than just blowing teams away. But you have to say
yeah,
that at the moment, seeing as you're at the top right now,
yeah.
it's looking like it's slowly working. So
Mm.
do you feel different? Are you happy with how things are going, or do you think that things still need to improve?
I'm happy. I'm happy with picking up results like picking up the cheeky 1-0, cheeky 2-1 win. But I still think in the second half of the season, if Arteta lets the handbrake off the players, I think they could go on like a run and they could
Mm,
score maybe 3 or 4 goals and kill games off early. Because the only issue I've got is that when you play teams and you're winning 1-0, they can go up the other end in the 95th minute or 98th minute or 100th minute of the game and score
mm,
equaliser. So we need to be like ruthless and kill games off, and then Manchester can take on players and rest players like Saka. I don't
mm,
expect Saka to play all the Christmas games. I expect him to be rested and rotated. We need to
mm,
rotate some of the players as well. Like some games, Trossard comes in. Some games, like Nketiah will come in, or some games Havertz will start. He has to kind of rotate the squad, or use the squad over the Christmas period. So that's the only way I see us doing what staying top of the league if we rotate the squad and win all our games, manage to win all our games. So yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be tough that because a lot of the
Mm,
players you mentioned there, that not only that there's international duty, you got a point to prove, you got the Euros next year in Germany, so a lot of players are going to be playing for their positions. Obviously, it's just
yeah.
how we had a very mundane international break as far as England was concerned. We barely got
Mm,
past Malta. We couldn't get past Macedonia despite all the talent that we have. And I think it's annoying that of all the players that he has,
yeah.
the ones that should be rested are the ones that are not going, or
Mm,
like they give the guys a chance that aren't going, but the ones that you really want, like just keep
mm,
them fit and keep them safe. The likes of Sakas, your Kanes, your Walkers, all these kind of guys, the ones that are going. And even
yeah.
though I'm reluctant to have him go, despite how good he is, someone like Maguire, I know he's good for England, but I can't think that someone else wouldn't do a good job. But anyway, that's by the by. So,
Yeah.
another thing I noticed, there's a nice bit of team camaraderie with you guys. Is how you came around Aaron Ramsdale. Now, you have an unenviable position of hey, you had two goalkeepers, two number one starting keepers in your team, and you're able to
Hmm.
rotate. Um, and he's got a Arteta's got a job in his hand, keeping both of them very very happy because
Yeah.
they're not there to be subbed in and out willy nilly, and you're going to have to keep them sweet. So, what did you think of that display you saw with them coming around Ramsdale? Just giving him that support that he needs after that win at Brentford.
It was a great gesture from the players because I think Ramsdale's confidence was very low. You can see his confidence was low. He made an error and then Declan Rice cleared it off the line in the first half against Brentford.
Mm.
I feel like after that, like he after he gained confidence, he made a good save towards the end of the game from in Bumo, and he was through and he hit it across him and he blocked off the line. I think Jorginho or someone he blocked off the line.
Mm.
So this game, him getting that minutes, I hope he gets. Obviously, Arsenal play Champions League tonight, so hopefully he can get the minutes, get a run out again tonight. Just because Arsenal are literally through in the Champions League now anyway. I think we're almost qualified now, so it would be nice to give him a little run out. Maybe give your because some of the other players are a little run out who have not played a lot of minutes recently. Like rest of Saka, it's not really to play Saka in this game. It's not really
I'd
a
be
game for us to
surprised.
win. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then you could rest a couple of the key players and just give some of the youngsters a chance as well. So, because that's the only way. The only way the team will do well is you have to use the whole squad. Like you can't just use the same 11 or 13 or 14 players every week. You have to kind of use the whole team throughout the whole season. Because not cause like Man City, for example, they use their whole squad throughout the whole
Mm.
season. That's how they won the league last season. So they were able to rest key players in key times during the season. So yeah.
Well, if you're Calvin Phillips, you're resting all the time, so you're just sitting there waiting for
Mm.
God knows what. If you're sitting there and
Yeah.
waiting for God knows what, Calvin Phillips, mate, we're thinking of you. If you ever want to play, well, don't come to us because we're a bit of a shambles right now anyway. But hey, you'd play.
Yeah.
I think you'd play,
Mm.
but anyway. Now I think it's good. Like if you look at the most title-winning teams, like for the last 10, 15 years, there was always a case where if a player was out, you could replace them with another. So it's good to have like different squads covering different competitions. Obviously, Carabao is not the one you're going to be in, but I think after what happened last year, your priority is looking towards the Premier League, maybe even a good run on the Champions League. Pick up a 15th FA Cup. I don't know. I don't know what's on the cards. This City side is still very, very strong. Still very, very strong. We shouldn't write them off. They got a hard-earned draw on Saturday against Liverpool.
Liverpool. Yeah.
So them being a point behind is something they're going to be used to. They were behind for most of the time in last season. So again, nothing they're going to be used to. This is looking like it's going to be a freeway shot between you, Man City, and potentially Liverpool, and maybe even slight room for an outsider, which is kind of what the Premier League needs at the moment.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be a 1-horse, 2-horse race all of the time. This has got potential
Yeah.
to be an extremely exciting season, and not even just in terms of winning the championship. I'm talking in terms of going for Europe and survival. So, but we'll get onto the survival as well. Just anything else? Another thing on Arsenal when it comes to the whole goalkeeper thing, obviously between Ramsdale and David Raya. It was Ramsdale who started the last Premier League game against Brentford.
Yeah.
For the sake of camaraderie and for the sake of harmony in teams and just giving them a chance, would you keep Ramsdale in goal for the next game, or would you pluck for Raya just to keep things fresh a little bit?
I'll play Ramsdale in the Champions League game tonight, and I'll play Rare in the next game against who's the next game against now?
Wolves.
Wolves. Wolves. I'll play Rare in the next game. I'll give Rare a run in the next game. I feel like I think Ramsdale kept a clean sheet against Brentford, so it would be very unfair to drop him, and his confidence will get even lower again because you are going to need Ramsdale again in the second half of the season. Because Rare might pick up an injury, anything could be out of form, so you need to have both goalkeepers ready to push each other and ready and waiting on the wings.
Yeah,
So
he's alone, isn't he? Technically, he's alone, isn't he? From Brentford.
It's a loan because that's why he couldn't play against Brentford because it's still Brentford's player, so that's why he couldn't play. So yeah. But apparently they're gonna make it permanent end of the season anyway. They've already agreed to make it permanent. They decided that he's the guy that they want. So yeah.
No, I kind of think it depends on what kind of trophy you bring home this season. There is clearly a room for some silverware for you guys this season. Don't know quite which one it's going to be, but a lot of that is going to depend on what you win and who you're going to be able to keep, and potentially come next year, who you're going to be able to sign. Because obviously with the Euros coming up, a lot of people are going to have their eyes on certain players you might want to see come through. I mean, I've personally forgotten who's gotten all the way through because I think the qualifying is pretty much done, right? For the Euros.
I think Netherlands has gone through, Italy's gone through, England's gone through, France has gone through, Germany the host, that they're through.
Yeah.
I think if I'm correctly. I think Albania's gone through.
Mm.
Albania. What's the other one I remember this saying over there? Albania. I think Wales have to go through a playoff.
Yeah.
Wales got to do a playoff. Scotland are through. They
Okay.
qualified.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they qualified. Qualified. Spain are qualified.
Mm.
Denmark. I think Denmark are qualified as well.
Mm.
I think the one that didn't qualify was Norway. Norway didn't qualify.
Norway did not qualify.
No, they didn't qualify.
Where
They didn't.
which
Norway didn't qualify.
Pep or Mikel might be a bit happy about that. Obviously, your captain,
Yeah,
his talisman.
and
So
yeah, Norway didn't qualify. Who was qualified? I think Sweden qualified as well. If I remember correctly, I think they qualified as well.
no, so there's a lot of different teams in there, and obviously watching the tournament afterwards when it ends in July, a lot, that's when the January transfer window is going to have most of its action. And when you see players, seeing who we like and be like, someone like me, I can't think of signing players isn't our problem. We're very good at that. Our problem is just purely playing. So, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a bit. We could so moving on from Arsenal, probably slide over to the two other Premier League protagonists, with Man City and Liverpool, which was the first game to kick off from the international break. 1-1 between the two. City getting their scoring first, and then Trent, loving life in his new position, gets another goal. Fair result in the end from the two. Fair result.
Yeah, I think it's a fair result. I thought Man City tried to go for the win, and Man City kind of stopped. Like Liverpool star players like Salah playing, Nunes from score. Like they kind of blocked them from getting any chances, creating any chances. So when Man City scored from an error from Alisson made an error, tried to clear the ball for a long punt up to Salah, but he slipped and then he kicked the ball out and it went to Nathan Ake, controlled it. Haaland made one little move, the ball came to him and then finished it. But I do think the defending for the goal was very poor as well. I think Van Dijk should have gotten more closer to him and closed him down, tighten the angle so he had no chance to score. Because if you look at the replay of the goal, it looked like the way I saw it, I was watching it, like Haaland had a free run. Because by the time Van Dijk was to get over, he could have called the other defender to put double off on him, but he was already Matic could have doubled off and get to not making that shot. So that was 1-0. I think Trent's goal was a good goal. Good little play from Liverpool, little 1-2, then passing. Then Trent came and did Gerrard-esque run in the box, late finishing the goal. Man City were unlucky. Man City were unlucky with a couple of those chances as well, but I feel like a 1-1 draw was a fair draw in the end. I think both teams, no one deserved to lose that game on Saturday. So it was a good point for Arsenal because Man City and Liverpool dropped more points in the title race. So I was very happy with that. Yeah, so yeah.
I think there's only like 2 points separating you. You're on, I think, 29. They're City on 28, and I think Liverpool on 27. Either way, there's nothing really separating all you three. So normally by now, late November, you can tell who's going to be around there at the end. Do you think that Liverpool are going to tail off, or do you think if they keep this run consistent, they can make it all the way to the end, make it a little bit more interesting, horse race sort of thing?
I feel like Liverpool's team is much more better than last season. I think last season they were in transitional period. I think because after all the years of challenging Man City, finishing second every season and winning the title once in the whole year since Pep and Jurgen Klopp have been battling for the title. I feel like last summer was very difficult. They lost Mane, they lost a couple of players. They were not in form. A lot of injuries, a lot of players not the same. The aging players. I think in the summer they did the right thing, get rid of Jordan Henderson, get rid of Fabinho, getting rid of this. Firmino left as well. Even though I'm saying Firmino was a bad player for them, but obviously he needed to freshen up the squad a bit. So he freshened up the squad, brought in Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, McAllister, so Endo. So he brought in some good signings in the summer, and he's I think Liverpool will stay challenging this season. I don't think they'll fall off. The only issue I have with them is defense.
I think so. I think so. Though it's it's more of a I don't know. This is probably one of the closer times. I mean, City are not having it their own way, and I relate this time to F1. They started hitting the bricks or really pumping the gas back in 2018, that dominance. So I think 2018, 2019, obviously we didn't win in 2020, but we're pretty much there. Then they had 2021, 2022 and 2023. So whether you like it, that's about 4 or 5 years worth of dominance. So at any point, that dominance has got to come to an end. It happened to Mercedes in F1. It's happened to Barcelona in no, they won the Liga last year. Real Madrid couldn't do nothing for a very long time. So maybe this could be. Maybe there's very small like chips in the armor of Man City.
Yeah.
They've dropped points where you wouldn't expect them to drop points. Wolves, they dropped points. They dropped points against you after finding out how long. They dropped points against Chelsea, where arguably I think we should have won that game. When you think about it, and who knows where. And again, they're not firing on every single cylinder, but that's not to say that they're easy picking and cannon fodder. They're very so much a dangerous team. They came back last night in the Champions League from a mismatched team, essentially a second string team that could probably play in the Premier League. So they're still dangerous. Liverpool, I think, are going to be like the one dead. I think Liverpool are going to do what many people in Man United were going to do last year, and that's pick away at the heels constantly, and just wait for one of you two to slip up. Because one thing they're very good at is joining in a title race. No, there was that season where it's 2019 where they were a point behind and only lost one game. Then they're rewarded in the year after that, and all this time it's always been those two, and obviously you joined in next year. So you got three different teams, 3 different philosophies about going to win the title, and just different teams. Obviously, haven't played Liverpool yet, so we'll know more when you play Liverpool in the title race. So it's looking good. I mean, obviously, not looking good for me and what's going on with us, but from a neutral point of view, it's pretty good. I mean, seeing as we have mentioned my club, I'm gonna get this out of the way quite quick because we're. First game back, it feels like we're going back to square one just a little bit. So for those of you who didn't know and want to laugh at my pain, it did end up 4-1 to Newcastle on Saturday at St James's Park against a club formerly known as Chelsea, now known as Charity FC. We have talked about this before. I've talked about this before. After like putting in some really good performances against Man City, Spurs, Arsenal, obviously being strong in the Carabao Cup, you get results like this. You get results like Brentford, and you get results like this. What do you how? I mean, I know what I think, and I'm going to say it. But how do you assess Chelsea's just really inconsistent form at the moment? How do you address it?
I feel like you've still got a young team. You've got to remember you've got a lot of new signings in the summer again. I know you had last season you bought a lot of players, and this summer you bought more players again. I feel like with Chelsea, you've got a good starting 11. Pochettino knows it's a good starting 11 now. I know it's the players he wants to start. But when it is about having is like right now, I still think Enzo needs to produce more in the midfield. For all the money you paid for him, he needs to produce more. I still think Caicedo's still finding his feet at Chelsea, to be honest with you. He's not really stamped his authority in the team yet. Thiago Silva's aging is declining very rapidly, but week by week is declining. I feel that some games you might have to rotate him with other players like Balotelli or who else you got? Fofana.
When he comes back.
When he comes back, you might have to rotate him, not play him every single game. Or you could play Colwell could play centre back as well. So you might have to rest him and not play him every single game. I know he wants to play every game, but I don't think his body can do it anymore. He's 38 years old. Or
he's 39 now. He's 39, man. Yeah.
39 now. So I'm not saying to go to retirement home, but I think you need to ease his minutes a bit and maybe take him out the firing line in some games and play him in the big games and important games where you know you can do something. So, yeah.
I think, you're exactly right there. Most of the points in there I pretty much agree with. I think with me, it's just the fact that the downfall comes to things that we do. It's a charity FC thing where we give away points and we give away wins and goals that we really and truly we can't afford to be keeping. Granted, We're lucky that we're still 10th at the... God, we're still 10th at the moment. Fulham doing us... I mean, it requiring Fulham to do us favours in the situation, keeping Wolves at bay, because even the point where they're taking us ahead and we're back down in the bottom half of the table. Like, watching that game and the highlights of the game, it's like, we did all that. We got back at 1-1 at half-time. Things were looking all right. If there was ever a time to protect a result, like a draw, when Newcastle are clearly stronger, granted, they're very injury ravaged in their team and they didn't play that well, but we're not, that doesn't mean nothing to us. It doesn't mean we won't give you a couple of goals, and that's exactly what we did. We didn't go ahead and protect the draw. Silva makes a costly mistake against a team that's known for their set pieces, giving so many fouls away when they're good at set pieces, big, tall, strong players. Why are you giving so many fouls away? And again, the defending, like particularly the second goal, no one's watching. Is it Joe Linton? He was hungry for the game. They weren't that good. They weren't that good in the game, but they took their chances and we let them get there. You know, poor Sanchez was just left there standing like a sitting duck. Third goal, I watched it once and I got so angry I watched it again. The first goal, just lack of concentration and strength, and then your captain. And this, for me, I think is one of the biggest issues I think we've had at Chelsea for the past 2 to 3 years, where we just lack a lot of discipline. You know, disciplined teams don't do what Reece James did, who is our captain, he's 24, he's young, but he's proper Chelsea. He knows what he knows what he's meant to fight for this club. He's had to fight his way through the ranks, get through to the top, and be a established captain, one of the best right backs in the Premier League. You know, established right back for England international, won international trophies for Chelsea, and you expect more from someone like that. He's just something stupid. Like, granted, there's only one game suspension, but it's a game suspension we can't afford, and it's like we just lack a lot of discipline. So with that, Ryan Craig, with the lack of discipline, do you chalk that down to the fact there are too many players at the club? Do you chalk it down to Pochettino still establishing his style? Is the squad too young, or do you think there's another factor playing with our crippling lack of discipline?
I feel like your discipline's an issue. Like, I thought the issue is like Reece James is Chelsea captain. Like, he should not be getting sent off making silly challenges like what he did on Saturday. He should know better. He played football for a long time. He should know better than that. And I think the biggest issue is what I think it is. You got a young team, and with young teams, you're going to be inconsistent. Some games you're going to win, some games you're going to lose, some games you're going to draw. Yeah. I thought with Pochettino, he's a very good manager with young players. He done it at Southampton. He did it at Espanyol. He done it at Tottenham. So he knows how to get the best out of the player. I feel like the club needs to give him time. I know you fans are impatient. I know you guys want to win trophies again. I know you guys want to get higher up on the table. Yeah. I think you have to trust the process. Look at Arsenal, for example. I use Arsenal as an example. Yeah. When Arteta first came into Arsenal, he had a big mess.
Big mess.
And I mean, he had a big mess. He had a massive mess. He had a lot of average players in the team. I can name a few. Mustafi, for example.
Yeah.
He had a lot of players like Socrates. He had players that were not good enough in the club. Yeah. It took him 5 years, 5 years to stamp his authority in the club, get rid of all the big ego players who are not pulling their weight anymore, and build this young, vibrant, exciting team that almost won the league last season. Yeah. So what I have to say is that, just with Pochettino, wait until the end of the season. Hopefully he's still in the Carabao Cup, he's still in the FA Cup, he's still in the league, he still can push up the table. So I wouldn't be worried about it so much. I think this is just a one-off blip, because after the international break, players are tired, players come up from South America. So I wouldn't be worried about the result too much. I know it's a 4-1 defeat against Newcastle, one of your top 4 rivals, because they got Champions League last season. It's at the expense of you guys. So I wouldn't really worry about it too much. Because I feel like once you got your injured players back, like Nkunku still hasn't played for Chelsea in the Premier League, so you need to see what he can do. In January, you might have to get rid of a few players. I heard that Trevor Chalobah might be leaving the club because he's not playing. There's a few players that in the club that you might need to let go. and maybe reduce the squad size a little bit, and then maybe Pochettino can work with the 18 or 20 players he wants in the squad, and then if you can win the Carabao Cup, that's an entry to Europe next season. So, and if you can finish in the top five, that's Champions League football next season. I think if you finish fifth this season, you get
Yeah.
Champions League next season. So if you can finish fifth, get Champions League, or get into Europa League next season, then that's a good season for Chelsea, because I know Chelsea fans are always going to say, well, look at the years under Abramovich who won so many trophies. One thing I have to say is that era is over now. That era is
It's
done.
done.
It's
Yeah.
done. It's a new era, a new team, a new philosophy, a new manager, a new culture. So it's going to take a long time for you to get back to that level, but you have to be patient. That's all I have to say to Chelsea fans. You have to be patient. You have to be
Yeah.
very patient.
Yeah, I think that's what it is, because we've got a completely new regime, and I think this was the same regime that we know very well. But I think the chances are he probably wouldn't be in a job. But this is a new regime. We've got to do things a little bit differently. War about sustainability. Go buying out all these players, long contracts. All right, we're spending a lot of money, but it's like we're planning ahead for a future. We don't know what's going to come ahead. We really don't. But they're young players. Barely any of them are above the age of 25. I mean, if you actually look at the squad that we have now compared to the squad we had 2 years ago, you'd barely recognise any. I think the only two players that are still there are Reece James and Thiago Silva.
Yeah.
And that's it. Think of the players in between in 2 years that aren't there anymore. So I'm talking exclusively about the team that won the Champions League final in 2021 to where we are in the summer of 2023. You could barely... Oh, well, when the season restarted in 2023, you could barely recognise them. So I think that I've always said that with a lot of clubs, with any clubs where you are, it doesn't help to talk about the past too much, because it's only going to make things worse of what things were, rather than looking forward to what things can be. This is an entirely new thing. There's a new, it ebbs and flows. Certain teams have their dominant period. You're at the start of yours. We're at the end of ours. Man United are currently end of theirs, and as of speaking, their dominance can only go so far. They drew 3-3 with Galatasaray, rooted to the bottom of their Champions League group. So, we'll get to them in a bit. But yeah, I think what I've had to do and what I've had to learn is to kind of live by my own words, where I said to Liverpool fans, I said to Arsenal fans, looking back is not going to get you where you want to be. You're going to have to look forward and make these changes. And football is changing. Football is very much changing over and over again. For whether we like it or not, we just have to embrace it with these new things. Obviously, VAR still can't get much right nowadays. Anyway, again, talk about it in a second. Final words from me. Well, we got Brighton next. We don't like playing Brighton. Hell, we don't like playing anyone. But I have to take each game as it comes. I couldn't tell you what we're going to do, because it also depends on who's playing, what position they're in, and what kind of mood they're in. Because I'm looking at this where let's get a decent, like you said, get a decent time running in the league, top 7, and maybe push for that Champions League. And if you win a couple, I would love a good run in the cups. I'd love to win both the cups. Give this young team something to fight for, because this is new to them. They've barely been in the Premier League for a year, most of them. Give them a target. You go out there, you win these cups, gain some confidence, and then go on, push on in that league. Because winning that Carabao Cup, I think the finals in February, March, that's 2 months worth of football towards the end of the season to still go on and finish strong and get yourself firmly up in the top half of the table. I'm not saying we're going to get into the top 4. Personally, I don't think we will, but make that the target for next year, and then the year after that, who knows? 2-3 year building project. Obviously, we don't know what's behind doors, what's going on, and this and that. We still need a striker in January and stuff. But hey, look, see. So I'm not overly upset now as much as I was at the time, because the performance didn't warrant a 4-1. They didn't play their way to a 4-1 game. We gave their way to a 4-1 game. So if anything, Newcastle kind of owe us. So next game, let's see some kind of improvement. I want to see some, I hate to admit, but I wouldn't mind having some of that Man United energy, which is exactly what they did against Everton in the Super Sunday game. I think we had them to beat Everton, or I think I had Everton to win, or one of you guys or Clive had Everton to lose. Obviously, you were right. It was a healthy 3-0 win. They're the only team that can do that. But if we're going to talk about that game, if there's one highlight we're taking from this game, is that goal. That is the one thing I'm taking away from that game. If you're going to fight for your manager, if you're going to fight for positions, that is how you do it. I mean, I can't stand this club. I cannot stand this club. But game recognized game. And that goal, that is pretty much... Can you think of a better goal this season?
Elise against Luton, that goal was quality. That goal was class. When he ran, this is Elise's goal. When he went past him and he bent it with his left foot, top corner. That was a top class goal. But Garnacho, like I've watched the match today on Saturday. I saw Elise's goal. I said that has to be goal of the season. Then 24 hours later, I'm watching the Everton Man United game. And then Garnacho goes and scored an absolute another goal of the season contender. The Premier League always brings up like players who score spectacular goals, and I thought that goal has to be one of the best United goals I've seen in a long time. The last person to do an overhead kick like that was Wayne Rooney. That was like against a derby against Man City.
Yeah, man, when the Premier League.
But I personally thought that Garnacho's goal is better because the angle, the way how he had to move his leg, and the way the goal was, it was like from a wide angle. So you had to. The way how he elevated and got it clean, he got it clean off his foot.
The Premier League.
Rooney's one kind of hit off his shin and went in, but Garnacho's one was class, top class.
Hey, you gotta be in the right position to take these things, man. But hey,
definitely.
2 Premier League, 2 goal of the season, definitely goal of the month, but now goal of the season contenders in the same month. The Premier League. If those of you know what I mean, the Premier League is back. Back when we were treated to screamers and bangers like every other week, man. Bring back these kind. I mean, this kind of new football, very methodical, very technical, very like play from the back kind of stuff. That's all well and good, but bring back some of these bangers, man. Bring back some of these crazy, like long range, funny screamers from like. I remember watching like long time. A video came up. I think it was 1 month where there were the screamers every single game in the month, and it was, and this was at Portsmouth. Pedro Mendes against Man City. He's told 2 screamers in 2 games.
Yeah,
absolute worldies, man. Bring them goals back, man. We love to see it. But back to the present day, they got their 3-0 win. Everton comfortable, really, or jammy. It's Man United, so I'm always going to say that it's jammy, but as of recording, they drew 3-3 with Galatasaray. They are now rooted to the bottom of their Champions League group with 1 game to play, which I believe is against Bayern Munich in the last game.
At home, yeah.
Which means nothing in the Champions League because they can't seem to do it. Bayern Munich, very much contenders to win it. As far as the Premier League goes, they're not that far off. In fact, let me see how far they are off the top 4. I don't think they are that far.
Yeah.
And they're meant to be having a crap season, but I think it's because with all the hype they're going behind, you'd think they'd be competing for the Premier League, which they're very much not. So officially, they're only 4 points off.
That's not bad though.
That's mad.
That's not bad.
I mean, they're the only club in the whole league, Premier League, to not draw a single game. They lost 5, but they've won 8, and that's sometimes all it's about, and that's winning the games. So, as terrible dysfunctional season they're having, they're only 4 points off. So
Like being a Man United already, they can go on a long run, and they can like they're doing right now. They're going on a long run again in the Premier League. They haven't lost. They're unbeaten in 5. I think 4 or 5 have been unbeaten now.
True, yeah.
So
including today,
they can go on a long run, and they can go and just pick up points and go up the table. So they're one club to watch out for. They are a jammy team. I know they're very jammy, but they're always. And if they buy in January as well, then boy.
stand. This is why I can't stand this club, because they're the only club. They're the only club that can do what they do. Play that bad, have so many like bang average players, who aren't particularly great at much of a lot, and get their 4 points off a top four, and they're having a bad season. We're 8 points off of them, and then we've still got to play them. I think in the next few weeks or so. So it's just that, man, like you said, that Fergie time, that thing, that spirit very much lives on in them, where it's just like they will find they
won the Premier League 20 times. They won it so many times. They know how to win Premier League. They know how to how to do it. They've done it so many times. So
it makes you wonder with the Glazers, if it just like, I don't know, pay 50p to fix a stadium, pound 29 on some half decent players, and give Maguire £20 to leave and go to whatever, and give no players a chance, they'd be right up there. They don't have to spend that much money, and even when in the first few years of their reign, they were doing quite well. So it's such a weird thing to explain, to be honest. I can't get my head around it, man.
But Man United have wasted a lot of money on players, though.
That is
have
true.
Wasted awful lot of money on players. Like Anthony's a waste of money. I'm sorry, he's trash.
He's terrible. He is terrible.
He's not good enough. Sancho's not been given a chance.
Free Sancho, man.
Sancho's not been given a chance. It seems like the youngsters are the only one that are doing well at United. Obviously, Garnacho, that Kobe. I forgot to talk about the midfielder, Kobe. The one who played centre. Manu.
Something on that line. Yeah.
Yeah, he played well against. He was man of the match for me against Everton. He played very well.
Really, really good. Wow.
And I think the youngsters at United, they've got some good youngsters coming through in the academy. I feel like they should maybe stop buying like players like Mason Mount for all that money and use some of the academy youth team players. That's what Man United are known for, using their youth. Over the look at that, Beckham, Neville, Bart,
Scholes, 92.
That's what I'm saying. They always relied on youth. Even before that, like George Best, Sir Bobby Charlton, Dennis Law. They always used their youth. They always used their academy to do well. So I don't think they need to be wasting any more money on players. All I think they need is another striker. Like they definitely need another centre back, maybe another 2 centre backs, because Martinez is injured at the moment. I don't know how long he's out for.
Miranda's gone AWOL.
I think he's definitely going in the summer. I don't think he's going to stay. Maybe he might leave in January.
I did see something like on the rumour mill where Casemiro and Varane are both likely to leave, like not even in the summer, but likely to leave in January.
Yeah, I feel like Casemiro's kind of he looks like he doesn't want to be there anymore.
I don't blame him.
He doesn't want to be there. So
they can play Amrabat. They can play Amrabat in that position, isn't it?
And I feel they need another. I think they need another left. If they want to challenge for the title again, they need a left back. Like if Luke Shaw is injured, they got someone who can slot in at left back and do the same job. Rashford needs to step off his game again and get back on goal scoring form. Always. Because he just signed that mega new contract and he still hasn't really delivered this season. I know he scored a penalty on Sunday, but for that, all that money he's on now, he needs to start delivering in the big games again and getting form back. He can do it.
Of course he can. Of course he can.
Do it. So he needs to step up again. Garnacho, if he can get 10 to 15 goals this season, that would be a success, I think, because he like some of the young players chipping in with goals, some of the senior players helping the younger players even more.
Yeah.
That's what I think. Yeah.
I think there needs to be a bit more of a thing on, like, say, we've talked about it before with McTominay. Now his partner in crime is gone. And we talk about Man United. You mentioned before, like the youngsters going way back who represent Manchester United, and I think what we need is people who know about the club and understand the club. And if there's one guy who also I think they should be working around, is someone like Scott McTominay, who is a Man United player to the core, or someone like there's a reason why they brought back Johnny Evans. He represents everything. He represents, I think, the last time they won the Premier League. Players that represent, players that know what it's meant to be by Man United. Players like Hodgland, he's coming new, he's young. maybe get something in it with him before he goes off to another club, if that's the case.
Yeah.
Rashford, he's Man United. He's Man United through and through, who should be doing a lot better than actually is. I mean, the fact that a few years ago they were comparing him to Mbappe is mad to me. Absolutely mad. Can he reach those levels? There's nothing stopping him. The same way there's nothing saying that Nketiah can't get to Rashford levels. It's there. So for a team that's in some kind of crisis, it's not looking terrible. Just don't play European games and if it gets past the defence and go into Onana, you're done for.
Yeah,
because he conceded. I saw earlier. He conceded another comedy goal earlier, which is fun to see. I don't know why I saw it. I wanted him personally.
You're talking about the Ziyech free kick?
Yeah.
That was a poor free kick to concede. I think he slipped. He slipped, but he wasn't positioned. I don't think he positioned himself right. You played in goal. He should have saved that.
Oh yeah, no.
It wasn't in the corner. It didn't go in the corner. It was right in the middle of the goal it went in. It didn't go in the corner.
He was just completely, utterly wrong-footed. I'm just thinking the Nana they got from Inter Milan it ain't the same guy. So Agent Ziyech doing what he does best. Agent Ziyech, you're welcome, by the way. Fun times ahead. So speaking of clubs, I mean, Man United seems to be going the right direction. Everton, I mean, they're still gonna be all right. I mean, it's a blip on the radar. It's Man United. You're 4 points. It's not gloom and doom just of yet. You got more winnable games. Do you think they're still going to be okay?
I thought they'd be okay. I feel like they did create a lot of chances against United, but they couldn't finish. If you saw the game, when United were 1-0 up, they should have made it. Everton should have scored at least 3 or 4 goals.
Yeah.
Like Onana was, he missed a lot of chances. The Corey normally scores his chances, missed a chance. Calvert-Lewin should have scored. So a lot of the chance, they could have scored a couple of goals in the first half. Garner could have scored. So maybe they take their chance in the next game. I think Everton will be safe this season. I don't think they'll get relegated. I bank myself they'll get out of this mess. I think they'll get out of it.
Get another goal scorer in their team, and I think they'll be right as rain. So I mean, it's not all doom and gloom for them. I mean, it's doom and gloom for Spurs. Very quickly talk about them. After being top of the league for how long, the last club to being unbeaten, they've now lost 3 in the bounce. So that was Chelsea, that was Wolves, and then, getting beaten by Aston Villa on the weekend. Ha, 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 ha. Ha, 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 ha. Is all I'm going to say. Although, I will say this, Matty Cash, that was naughty. Very, very, very naughty. Very naughty. Less of that, please. Less of that. It wouldn't be 8-7 if we... I know it's not Premier League, but it has to be seen. We're going to talk about our favourite subjects with the famous 3 letters. Mr. V, the A to the R. I think it raised his head. It got criticised again by Gary O'Neill on Monday night when Wolves went to Fulham. I think it was like a 98 for a 100-odd minute penalty, something along the line.
Yeah, so Williams scored it. Yeah. I saw the highlight of the penalty. It was not a penalty.
Yeah,
that was not a penalty at all. He never even touched him. He just went down and he gave him the penalty. So that's strike one. And then the next night in the Champions League, it struck again against Newcastle. I've seen this as well, and I think many of us agree it's never a penalty in the Premier League because it comes off of his chest on his arm. How are you going to? How to move out the way?
How do you move out the way? And it made it worse because I got a Newcastle friend of mine where I work, and he was literally saying that the day after that we got it wrong. It shouldn't have been a penalty. Well, that was good. Now, what about at the game? But I again, rumour mill, my best friend. I think I saw it on Sky Sports News or some kind of news outlet that they're trialling sin bins in football. Like they do in rugby, they're trialling sin bins. How do you think that will work in football for sin bins?
I think a lot of players are going to be in a sin bin. A lot of them are going to get sin bin. A lot of players will argue with the referee and swear at the referee. So I think we're going to have a lot of orange cards in matches. It's going to be a lot of like 9 men. There's going to be nine men on the pitch or something like that. Because players are going to, or 9 or up to 7 to 6. So I think players are just going to get, like, if they don't get a decision, they're going to argue with the referee. I think there does need to be respect to referees. It's a hard job. But VAR's not making it easy for them. So them bringing in this, it might clean up the game a little bit, but I feel that it might spoil a good entertaining game because the players are getting sin binned. Well, they do. I play football on Saturday, so they do it in Saturday football. Like if you abuse the referee or swear at the referee, you can get sin binned for 15 or 10 minutes. They're sin binned for a couple of minutes. Does it work? I've seen a lot of games when players get sin binned and the other team goes to the other end and score. So it does work, but is that going to help it? Well, they're trying it in grassroots football, so it must be a success, I guess. But they're in the Premier League is a different level because these players are getting paid millions to play football. We as amateur footballers don't get paid money to play football. We have to pay it out of our own pocket. So the difference is you have to respect the referees. End of the day, if the referees made a decision, they're not happy with it, tell your captain, as the referee said in amateur football, and the captain can speak to the referee, and the referee say, referee, I'm not happy with this. Then the referee can explain his decision. You have to respect the referee's hand and respect it. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
I mean, true, very, very true. I believe the weekend just gone. I can't remember who it was. I want to say it was Lewis Dunk at Brighton. He's not their captain, is he? Brighton.
No, he's a captain. Lewis Dunk is a captain.
Well, he is. Of course he is. I want to hear. Yeah. I heard that someone this weekend got booked, for the first time, or they were sent off.
It was Lewis Dunk.
Yeah, was it a straight red or was it a double yellow?
It was a straight red. He got a yellow card first, then I think he argued and said something to the referee and the referee pulled out a red card afterwards. There was a red card. So 2 booking red.
So that's the first. I think that's the first time that happened in the Premier League. So maybe maybe the sin bin might be that kind of meet in the middle as a kind of restorative justice thing to the players to be like, this is your last chance. I'm throwing out the olive branch, but if you snap that olive branch, you're off. So maybe from yellow to orange to red could be a sense of good progression. I don't know, but I think he was the first to get sent off for abusing the referee. So I mean, look, if it clears up the game, I'm for it because I'm tired of this uncertainty. Like I was watching the Champions League game, Galatasaray, Man United earlier, and I think Icardi scored a goal, but it was ruled off for offside. All that uncertainty, constantly looking around for the ref and then get the clear and then do that. That's the kind of thing that needs to be streamlined, like real quick, and obviously respect for referees and stuff. So, if it works in rugby, there's no reason why it can't work in football. So, maybe it's about time. Maybe it's about time to bring it in. So just to close off. Let's go through the fixtures. Why not? Let's look at the Premier League.
Let's do that. Yeah, why not?
Let's look at the Premier League fixtures coming up this week and see what we thought. Now, I think I did badly on the weekend because I said Chelsea would win. That was wrong. Very wrong. So going through the fixtures, so it doesn't look like there's an early kickoff. So we're starting with your game first, and that's Arsenal versus Wolves. What are you going for?
3-1 Arsenal.
3-1 Arsenal in honour of Clive with his famous 3-1s. I'm going to say a healthy 2-0. Nice, healthy 2-0. After that, Brentford and Luton at the G-Tech Community Stadium.
3-1 Brentford.
I'm going to throw a curveball. I think this could be a draw. I can see, but I'm saying that because I can see Luton scoring first. I'm going for a draw. Clearly show what I know nothing about football. Then we have a relegation battle, a battle of the bottom. Burnley versus Sheffield United at Turf Moor.
I think Sheffield United are going to win.
Yeah, Burnley, they've kind of let us down a little bit. I mean, Luton have kind of surprised us, but Burnley kind of let us down. I'm gonna say I'm feeling a bit more positive about this one, so I think Burnley are gonna do something. I can see a 2-1 Burnley at Turf Moor. So
Okay.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean I could be wrong, probably am. Yeah. Forest Everton at the City grounds. So second game after receiving their points deduction. Can Everton do anything at City ground?
I think Everton 2-1.
I agree. I think they're gonna win, but I think it's gonna be a two. No, I'm going for a 2-1 as well, Everton. I'm going for 2-1 as well. Why not? And the last game of the day on late is Newcastle versus Man United at St James's Park.
I fancy Newcastle. You know, this season they've done well against it. They beat Arsenal. They beat Man United in the Carabao Cup.
They beat
They
City. They
went
beat
toe to.
City in the Carabao Cup as
They
well.
beat City as well, and they beat Chelsea last week. I feel at home they're hard to beat at home.
Very hard.
Away from home, maybe you could beat them. So I thought it's going to be a two. I think it's going to be a 2-0 win for Newcastle.
I'm gonna go. No, I think 2-0. I agree with that. I'm happy with that. So yeah, see you with that. Then we go to Sunday. We go to Sunday's games. And we start off with Bournemouth versus Villa at the Vitality Stadium.
I can see an away win. I can't see Bournemouth winning. I think it's going to be a away win.
Yeah.
Aston Villa away win.
I think Villa getting
Aston Villa another win.
But it is a couple days after. I think they're going to play. I think they're playing Europa tomorrow. Conference League, yeah, tomorrow. So, what did you say? What did you say?
They got a big squad though, so they can always rotate players. Like, so I feel that they can play their reserve team in the Europa League, and then play in the Conference League, and then play the strong team in the Premier League. So yeah, I feel that they'll win 3-1 or 2-0 or 3-1. I think they'll win.
They got goals in them, so I'm gonna go over 2-1 for Villa. They got goals in them. I think Bournemouth will score. Chelsea Brighton at Stamford Bridge. I know what I'm gonna say, but what are you gonna say?
I think Chelsea home win.
Chelsea home win. I think Chelsea home win. I think we'll get back to winning ways. Brighton are not very consistent, and I think we're going to I think Cucurella's going to put in an absolute blinder. Great game. I think Brighton will score, but I think we'll do just enough to hold it off. So I see 2-3-1 Chelsea.
And their best defenders out as well. Lewis Dunk is not playing that game. That's why I fancy Chelsea to beat them. So
come on, boys, Brighton, do us proud. Yeah. After that, Liverpool Fulham at Anfield.
Home win.
Home win.
I can't see Fulham beating Liverpool. I can't see it at all.
Me neither.
I think the problem with Fulham, they don't score enough goals. They have to rely on penalties over there to win. So I don't really think they score enough goals or create enough chances. So I think Liverpool will win that 3-1.
Well, they got 2 penalties on Monday, so probably right there. I couldn't give you a score, but I wouldn't be surprised don't be surprised if it would say something like 3 or 4 for Liverpool. Do not be surprised.
Yeah, definitely.
So nice, comfortable win for Liverpool. Then we get to both of our televised games on Sky Sports. First of being West Ham versus Crystal Palace at the West Ham Stadium. London Stadium, sorry.
I think West Ham will win 2-1.
Palace got beat by Luton. They look they're lacking in goals, lacking a few ideas in certain areas. I don't think they're going to get relegated, but they're going to be
down there.
They're going to be there, but I think one of the safer ones. So, but I can see a West Ham win even after playing in the Europa League. And the final game of the weekend, another slobber knocker. Man City versus Spurs at the Etihad.
Home banker. Man City are gonna win.
I
can't see Tottenham win. If Tottenham win at Man City on Sunday, that'd be one of the greatest shots in the Premier League in a long time. The way how Man City got this team this season, the way how Tottenham got a lot of injuries and a lot of suspensions.
Yeah.
I can't see, and the way how the manager and players have lot this high line rubbish.
Yeah.
Against Haaland, against Foden, against Doku in that high line. They'll get Eric Dyer against Doku. Eric Dyer against Doku. See you later, mate.
Eric.
So I think Man City will win, and I think they'll win by a big score as well.
Hey, Eric
After
Dyer.
Man City win by a big score, yeah,
Eric Dyer is going to be having nightmares after this. Gomez.
yeah.
The only way he's going to stop him is if he just put lead in his shoes or something like that. No, I think you're right.
Yeah,
I think this is going to. I think this is going to be a statement win because
100%.
this is going to be a statement win, which I think is something that City are going to need if they're going to like put the fear back in the Premier League. Not saying that they're
Yeah,
not feared, but this is going to be an absolute statement, and Tottenham are just going to keep on sliding down. A bit like how you were at top. Eventually, they're going to fall down. They just fell down quicker. So,
yeah.
Spurs being Spurs. Love to see it. It's going to be a big score. At least 5. Tottenham can do what they want, but I will not be surprised. I will not be surprised if they put 5 past. I think they're going to be itching for a game like this, itching for
Yeah.
it. So,
Yeah,
because they were at home last week, weren't they, against Liverpool?
yeah. They were home last week against Liverpool. Yeah,
Lightning going to strike twice. I would be so surprised if Spurs came and won like you. I'll be so shocked. So, but look, put our results out there. Premier League's coming back. We see what these guys can do. Thanks, guys, for checking in on us on this special episode with myself and Craig. Do you think Man City is there chinks in the armour? Are they more dangerous than ever? Is Arsenal's methodical approach starting to work and being on top of the table? Can Chelsea keep the faith and rise up the table? Liverpool are dark horses, and why are Spurs being Spurs? No, probably not that last one, but you know what I mean. Catch us on, all different outlets, Amazon, Spotify, YouTube, all that good stuff, and we will see you on the next one. Peace out.
peace.